Man United have appointed Ralf Rangnick as interim manager following the departure of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The German coach, who pioneered the modern concept of pressing and influenced the likes of Klopp, Tuchel and Nagelsmann, is set to take over on a 6-month basis before taking up a consultancy role at Old Trafford. But while this news is certainly exciting for fans of the Premier League giants who have not fared well with managerial appointments in the past, there's no doubt as to who they want to hire on a permanent basis next summer. Mauricio Pochettino has long been in the thinking of the Old Trafford hierarchy, with Sir Alex Ferguson famously taking him out for dinner back in 2016. Had Solskjaer not been rewarded a permanent contract in 2019, he may well have taken over that summer, and he was also sounded out when the Norwegian coach hit a spell of poor form at the beginning of last season. Having managed 2 Premier League clubs already, transforming Southampton into a top half side and Spurs into genuine title challengers, he seems to tick most of the boxes. But how would he fix what is without doubt a club in crisis right now? On today's FD Explained, we're going to take a look. Perhaps the biggest criticism laid at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's door during his final months as United manager was that his side lacked a distinct playing style. This was particularly true in the final weeks when losses to Leicester, Liverpool, Man City and Watford were typified by a seemingly non-existent game plan. With forwards pressing individually rather than as a unit, vast gaps left in the midfield for the opposition to dominate, and allowing the fullbacks to become completely overloaded. The most damning indictment came from Kevin De Bruyne. Following City's 2-0 win, a match in which United recorded just 4 touches in the opposition box, their lowest tally in a game since Opta records began, the midfielder explained how City had done none of their usual tactical training before the game, due to Pep Guardiola having no idea how their hosts were going to play. But this wasn't always the case. Solskjaer's United were previously known for employing a mid to low block to invite the opposition into their half and utilising the pace of Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood to hit them on the counter. But this was only really effective against sides that wanted to attack. This was most noticeable in the first half of the 2019-20 campaign, when United won 83% of matches in which they had less than 50% possession, but came away victorious in just 15% of games in which they dominated the ball. The fact they had over 50% possession in 13 of those 19 games suggested that it wasn't a particularly good strategy, and it wasn't until Bruno Fernandes arrived in January 2020 that Solskjaer's side started getting better at breaking through sitting defences. And for a while it seemed like Bruno had solved United's problems. They went from averaging 1.5 to 2.1 goals per game, the difference between 57 goals and 80 goals across an entire campaign, while they also went from conceding 1.2 goals a match to just 0.5, posting the best defensive record in the Premier League from February onwards. But the underlying numbers told a different story. While their results at both ends of the pitch improved massively, their expected goals remained at 1.7 per game, while their expected goals against came down slightly from 1 to 0.9. It was a similar story in 2021. Despite finishing second in the league with the second best goal return, they ranked 4th for expected goals against and expected points. They may have upheld an excellent away record, but they also won just one of the 6 games they played against Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City, and crucially they lacked inventiveness in front of goal, taking fewer shots inside the box than Aston Villa and Leeds. As many have noted, this was largely due to the side relying on individual brilliance from the likes of Bruno, Rashford and Edinson Cavani, rather than possessing a structured attacking blueprint like Pep's Man City, Klopp's Liverpool or even Brendan Rodgers' Leicester. And this is something Mauricio Pochettino guarantees. At Tottenham, he was able to build a successful project by getting his players to buy into a philosophy which prioritised high pressing, quick passing and playing out from the back. This is obviously something that would take time to implement at Old Trafford. Since Solskjaer took the job in 2018, they've never ranked particularly well for pressing, and this season are allowing the opposition 13 passes per defensive action, the metric used to quantify how aggressively players are attempting to win possession in the opposition third. By comparison, Pochettino's Spurs in their 2016-17 pomp averaged 7.4 passes per defensive action, meaning this United side would have to press with almost double their current intensity to reach that level. But in terms of shape, Pochettino would have some familiarity, with the Red Devils generally lining up in his preferred 4-2-3-1. At White Hart Lane, the attacking play was built around Christian Eriksen, who was both the creative hub of the side in the final third, and would also drop deep to pick up possession and distribute when the side transitioned from defence to attack. Bruno Fernandes is tailor-made for this role, as this is largely what he already does. Last term, he created the most chances in the squad with 2.7 per 90 minutes, while he also ranked top for progressive passes and 5th for passes into the final third. He also works hard out of possession, ranking 3rd among teammates for attempted pressures. But while his productivity remains pretty high, the attacking midfielder has become less influential since Cristiano Ronaldo's arrival in the summer, and this is certainly something Pochettino would look to change. He'd also be a prime candidate for the captaincy if the coach wanted to switch that too. Another defining aspect of Pochettino's style is his use of fullbacks. At Spurs, he maximised the attacking output of Walker, Trippier, Rose and Davis, tasking them to push up and even switching to a 3-4-2-1, sometimes mid-game, to have them higher up the pitch out of possession too. The 4 of them provided a combined 15 assists in the 2016-17 season, while Trippier ranked joint 2nd in the squad for chances created per 90, with Davis just behind him the following campaign. So he'd have few problems in helping Luke Shaw, who he gave his first break to at Southampton, recapture his form of 2020-21, when he averaged more key passes per game than any other Premier League fullback and was also essential in driving his side up the pitch, with Nemanja Matic the only player to register more than his 7.6 progressive carries per 90. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is markedly less comfortable in possession, but has shown improvements in his attacking game at points in his United career. At 24 years of age, it's still possible for him to develop into a more well-rounded fullback with the right coaching. Coaching is the key to turning this expensively assembled, underperforming squad into genuine title challengers, and not just in a tactical sense. Because for this Man United team to play like Pochettino would want them to, they will need to become fitter. The Argentinian's training regime is famously tough, with former Spurs midfielder Moussa Dembele telling The Times in 2019 that one of the reasons he left the club was his inability to keep up with Poch's demands at the age of 31 following multiple injuries. For a side like United, who after 9 games of the season ranked 14th in the league for distance covered and had been outrun by the opposition in 7 fixtures, a step up on the physical elements of training would likely make for both quick and long-term improvements on the field, providing the basis for them to become a more well-drilled pressing team. Studies by StatsBomb and Michael Cayley found that after Southampton replaced Nigel Atkins with Pochettino in 2013, that the side instantly improved at closing players down, with both passes per defensive action and opposition pass completion rates coming down drastically. But he doesn't just make his players run hard. Like most top coaches these days, the former Espanyol manager takes a holistic approach to player improvement. At Southampton, his team would analyse saliva samples and have players complete a sleep and wellness questionnaire every morning before training. It was these kinds of methods that helped the Saints, then newly promoted to the Premier League, stay ahead of the curve, posting their best points tally in almost 30 years in the 2013-14 season. He also achieved this fielding the 2nd youngest team in the top flight, and repeated this trend after taking over at White Hart Lane, with the average age of his starting 11 at Spurs the youngest in the league for 3 seasons straight between 2014-15 and 2016-17. Following the arrivals of Cavani and Ronaldo, United have gone from having one of the most youthful squads in England to one of the oldest, but still possess a number of mouldable players, from Dean Henderson in goal to the aforementioned Wan-Bissaka at right back to Greenwood, Sancho and Rashford up front. But levelling up this side would also involve investing in new players, and one area of the pitch that cannot be improved with coaching alone is the midfield. While you'd expect to see an uptick in performances from Fred and McTominay, while Donny van der Beek with his dynamism, technical prowess and ability to arrive late in the box would certainly be given a more important role, Pochettino would still require the top-class defensive midfielder United currently don't have. At Spurs, Moussa Dembele was the man who made his side tick, with Pochettino banding him together with Maradona and Ronaldinho as one of the 5 most intelligent players he's ever worked with. While a player with Dembele's specific skill set isn't necessarily what's required, a tactically sharp midfielder who can shield the defence, organise players around him, and provide a foil for his more attacking teammates is essential for any manager to succeed at Old Trafford. Whether it be a destroyer like Wilfred Ndidi or a more dynamic operator like Declan Rice largely depends on which midfielder currently at the club Pochettino would want to partner them with. But one thing's for sure, if United are successful in hiring Pochettino, whenever that may be, and he is able to get the squad to fully commit to his methods, then the Red Devils will be a force in the Premier League and Europe once again. At such a crucial juncture in the club's modern history, with the most talented squad Old Trafford has seen since 2009, the club's hierarchy cannot afford to get the next permanent appointment wrong. So that was our take on how Mauricio Pochettino would fix Man United, but do you think he is the man to solve the club's problems? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like, and why not head over to Eurofootball Daily, where we took a look at why Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds are struggling this season. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.